I've been researching stress and the impacts of stress in workers since about 1997. So I've been around and I've seen lots of research and lots of initiatives to try and deal with stress. One of the misconceptions about stress-related ill health is that people think stress is something that individuals suffer from when they feel they cannot cope. But the reality is that many individuals are suffering the symptoms of stress, but they themselves think they're coping very well. And what that means is they often lack insight. So they might be short-tempered, they might not be sleeping well, they might be preoccupied with thoughts about their work 24/7. Those are the symptoms of stress-related ill health, but those individuals might themselves think they're coping really well. So one of the things we need to understand is that sometimes when people suffer from stress-related ill health, they don't have the insight to see that they are suffering. But their friends, managers, partners, family may realize that something is not right. So we need to get away from that idea that everybody who is stressed knows they are stressed. You're twice as likely when you're stressed to abuse or misuse food, alcohol, drugs, or any substances. So when you're stressed, you will eat twice as many cheeseburgers or drink twice as much or smoke twice as much as you ordinarily do. That's a behavioral impact. We also know that people who are stressed are more likely to get involved in conflicts, in road rage situations, in arguments with other individuals. We also know that some cancers are 5 times more likely to occur in stressed individuals than others. Now, it's very important to notice that there's no real evidence that stress directly causes cancer. But of course, if you are stressed and you're eating more red meat, you're smoking more cigarettes and drinking more alcohol, that will make cancers of the central line, the gastric tract, esophagus, stomach, bladder, bowel, that will make those cancers more likely because your diet has changed. Lung cancer being another example. So stress doesn't cause cancer, but stress causes us to do more of the things that make cancer more likely. The research also showed that those individuals who are suffering from stress are 3 times more likely to go on to then suffer from depression or anxiety, what we call low-level mental health problems. So the impacts of a stressed worker are very wide-ranging and can have lifelong impacts that can reduce or limit their lifespan and the quality of their lives. When you consider work, outside of sleeping, work is the single biggest occupier of our time when we're on this planet. And each of us will on average spend about 1/3 of our lives working, which is why it's really important that we make sure we do jobs which are healthful and safe, and we don't do jobs that are bad for us or bad for our health. Burnout is an extreme stress response when people have suffered chronic stress for 6 months or more and they feel they can't go on and they're running on empty. Those individuals then tend to go off work sick, and GPs take this really seriously. And GPs will traditionally sign somebody off work if they have burnout for 6 weeks to 2 to 3 months, because they know the importance of that worker psychologically and physiologically recharging. But by the time a worker has got to burnout, it's too late. And what staff and workers really need to do is to make sure that if they're feeling distressed or feeling unhappy in their job, that they do something about it. Talking to line managers, union representatives, health and safety representatives, most workplaces will have health and safety committees. Talk to those experts about how to improve your situation and how to look after yourself. So, what can students do to make things easier? Well, again, it comes back to finding control where you can get it, trying to make the demands tolerable. You often find in academia that it's weeks of doing relatively little and then intense periods where all your assessments are due at once. Try and plan your work, try and control your work and control your studies so that high demand period can be combated, or the amount of demands can be reduced if you spread the work over a number of weeks rather than leaving it to the last minute. So think about strategizing how you approach your studies and the assessments, and that might help you reduce the demands upon you later on. Something else I'd also say is that many of us are hoodwinked into feeling stressed about things because that's the norm. So words like exam, presentation, essay are words that we associate with stress, but they needn't be. Assessments are there to find out how good you are. And if you're good at something, then why should it be a source of stress? Instead of being stressful, think of it as a challenge. It's a challenging opportunity to show how good you are, to show how much you've learned, to show your skills. So if you're good at essays, or good at exams, or good at practicals, or good at project management, then see it as an opportunity rather than automatically assuming it's something to be stressed about.